Hey guys, Joe DeMarco here from the Crazy New York Driver Show with a video for Friday, November 21st, 2014. Another eBay video. We're going to be discussing several topics today, including PayPal, including the out-of-stock option, an announcement about my Google Hangout next week, and some other eBay issues that you guys have brought to the table. So let's get started. First thing I'd like to discuss, a little bit of a rehash. For the last few weeks I was telling you that I don't have the out-of-stock option, and neither do a few other people, including Thomas, Gary, and a small percentage of other eBayers. So I told you last week that I had contacted Griff and asked him to check into it for me. Well, Griff got back to me on Tuesday, I think, and told me that the out-of-stock option was something that eBay was rolling out gradually, and that soon all eBayers, including myself, would have it. And I thought that was a little odd, only because it seemed like 90% of you guys had it and only 10% of us didn't. But do you know, lo and behold, the very next day, like magic, I now have the out-of-stock option. And I know Thomas does too. I'm not sure about Gary, but everything worked out good. So Griff, thanks for fielding my problem, and thanks for responding so quickly. As I said, I knew by this week I would have some news for you guys about the out-of-stock option, and I did. Another thing I'd like to talk about, my friend David sent me a link. One of my friends from the Facebook groups, you know who David is. He sent me a link to a news item from PayPal. And the news item states that, effective shortly, PayPal cases opened after 30 days will not count as a defect against you. Now, hold up guys. People can still open cases with PayPal up to 6 months, like I talked about a few months ago. That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed one bit. The only difference now is if a person opens a case after 30 days instead of 45 days, the defect will no longer count against you. It's not a big deal, but I figured I should mention it to you guys anyway so you're aware of what's going on. In today's discussion in Facebook, several people were complaining about buyers winning an item, paying right away, and immediately canceling the purchase. This is a huge problem. It's getting worse, and I want to discuss that really at length. I think I know why this is happening. I've noticed it, and some other Facebookers have also noticed it. And I think you probably did too, but maybe it didn't quite gel. Think about the last time you bought something on eBay. No matter what the item is, I don't care. Alright? You buy the item, either it's buy it now or whatever, and as soon as you click buy it now and pay for the item, another screen appears that says you might also be interested in these items. Well, quite often the items that eBay is pushing on you is the exact same item that was just purchased. So for instance, you might have just purchased this iPhone for, let's just say, $199. Alright, you click buy it now, you pay the seller. The very next window says you may also be interested in these, and you'll see more iPhones, the exact same thing you just purchased, for a cheaper price. Let's say $150 or even $100. So what's happening is buyers are canceling out on the transaction they just committed to, the quote-unquote binding contract, and they are buying items that eBay is showing them are cheaper. Are you following me on this? Basically, they're doing more harm than good. I don't think eBay really realizes what's happening. Or maybe they do, but I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping they change that. I've noticed it myself many times, where I'll buy an item, and it will say you might also be interested in this, and it will show me the same exact item that I just purchased. So somebody complained this morning that she had had 7 cancellations in one day. You know, that's crazy. Myself, I have noticed this week to be unusually slow. I mean, Jesus Christ. I always notice when the holidays are coming up, eBay always slows down. We've talked about this in the past, but this seems to be a really widespread slowdown. I'd like to know from you guys, have you noticed this particular week to be a lot slower than usual? Recently I told you guys that I heard a rumor that the eBay was going to retire the much hated Cassini search engine. Well, if my gremlin is correct, they will not do this till after the holiday season, meaning beginning of January. So we're stuck with this dog of a Cassini search engine through the holiday period. And I don't like it. I always felt that it disrupts sales, and I think most of you guys agree with me on that. I mean, today, I have not sold anything yet. That's highly unusual. During the week, I had, 2 or 3 sales each day, and even that is slow. That is really slow. I'm hoping once we get through into January and they drop the Cassini search engine, if they do as I believe they're going to do, I'm hoping things pick up. But guys, just hang in there until then. A lot of you guys have complained about selling on eBay. Excuse me while I grab a Gatorade. A lot of you guys have complained about selling on eBay certain facets of it, like, let's say, dealing with lowball offers. That's a perfect example. I want to talk about that. Lowball offers on eBay really don't bother me at all, because it's just doing business. There's always going to be people that are going to try and get more than they're entitled to. I accept that. What I'd like to point out to you guys is, when you're in a brick and mortar store, you are open to a lot more aggravation than you are on eBay. All right? Some of you guys who don't have brick and mortar stores don't get to see this, but I'd like to discuss something that has happened to me. It just happened today, and it's the perfect example of the ultimate form of aggravation. And I'd like to run a contest to see if any of you brick and mortar store owners can equal what I'm about to tell you, because this is the kind of thing that pisses me off greatly. I have no problem when a guy comes in here and dickers on a price. No problem whatsoever. It's part of doing business. You're going to get that. A few weeks ago I told you about the various type customers. There's 3 types. The guys that'll pay any price, the guys that like to dicker, or the guys that are mean and nasty and won't spend no matter what you tell them. But let me discuss this type of customer. Thankfully, they're few and far between, but they irritate me. All right? A guy will call me and ask me for a particular hubcap. How much is a hubcap? Let's just say for a 2005 Toyota. And I'll say to him, it's $35. Okay? Now, maybe a week will go by, maybe 2 weeks. You don't know. And who will come driving in but a guy in a 2005 Toyota with 4 brand new of those cheap Taiwan generic hubcaps on. Okay? Now already I see that, I know what's going to happen. And it's usually somebody older. Almost always somebody older. They'll come in with a box in their hand with 3 2005 Toyota hubcaps. And they'll say this. Yeah, I called you last week about buying a hubcap for my Toyota and you told me it was $35. Well, I don't want to spend that kind of money. So I bought 4 of those cheap knockoffs. Now, I know you charge $35 each for these. What will you give me for mine? Can you believe the nerve? I swear to Christ, strike me dead on this spot if this didn't just happen again today. All right? There is no way in hell I will deal with a person like that under any conditions for any price. So what I'll say to him, I'll say, where'd you get those hubcaps from on your car? And he'll say, Oh, I bought them at Pep Boys. I'll say, you know what you do? Those 3 hubcaps in that box there, take them back to Pep Boys and ask them if they'll buy them, since you do your business with Pep Boys. Right? Am I right or wrong? I mean, if the guy comes in and he buys hubcaps from me and says, and this has happened, the guy will come in and say, I want to buy a new set of hubcaps for my car. All right. I'll show him what I got. He'll buy them. And if he has 3 on the car that are not, you know, in kind of cruddy condition but not too bad, I will buy them back and I'll refurbish them. All right? It's a win-win. I will definitely buy back from my customers. But if a guy calls me to buy an item and then goes to the competition, Caldor or Pep Boys, and then wants me to buy his junk, it will never happen. But I'm getting off track of eBay here. I want you guys, with all due respect, to realize selling on eBay is not that bad. You don't have the aggravation of a brick and mortar store. All right? Believe me, I've seen it all. I've been here for 20 years, and there's very little I haven't seen. Some people were asking me when the best time to leave feedback is. I was reading this just the other day on some comments you guys left on, I think it was last week's video. Some of you guys don't like to leave feedback until feedback is left for you. Whereas some of you guys leave feedback right away. If you want to know what my policy is, I don't leave feedback every day because it's just too time consuming and tedious. What I'll do is, let's say Monday I sell 5 items, Tuesday 5, Wednesday 3, Thursday 3, Friday 5. After the week is up, I will then go back and leave feedback all at one time. You know, at the end of the week. It's quicker and it's painless. Normally, I know there are some people that are going to jump on me for this. Normally, I leave feedback after I get paid for the item. I know, I don't want it, please, don't hate on me for that. That's just the way I do it. All right? If a guy's going to neg me, he's going to neg me one way or the other. All right? I'm happy to get paid. So I know some of you guys don't quite agree with that, and some of you do. I'm just curious, when you guys leave feedback, do you leave it right away or do you wait a while? I guess to each his own on that kind of thing. Next item, I've been talking for a while about hosting a Google Hangout, and I am proud to announce my first Google Hangout is going to be scheduled next Friday. A week from today, next Friday, the 28th at 4 p.m. Okay? Now here's how it's going to work. I'm scheduling this ahead of time, and by the time you're viewing this video, I should have dropped a link in to the Google Hangout. So if you want to just attend the Google Hangout, you know, as an observer, if you want to see it live, you would click that link. If you want to actually be on screen, I think I can have up to 10 people. I'd like to really only go up to 6, but for those of you guys who want to be on screen, you're more than welcome, but I need to know who you are. So contact me as soon as you can before next Friday. You could either PM me or you could type it below. I'll add you to my circles and I will put you in. And hopefully everything will be fine. Keep in mind a few things. You must have a video camera and a mic. Most computers have them built in today, so that shouldn't be a problem. Keep in mind also that I will be recording the entire webinar and posting it here on my channel afterwards. So if you're one of the people that's still at work and can't get home in time, don't worry. I will post it in place of my Friday video next Friday night. All right? We are going to be talking about eBay and PayPal issues as usual. All right? If you have any questions, bring them. If you want to just attend and not be on camera, that's fine. If you want to type in some eBay questions, you're more than welcome. The link is below. And if this works out real good, I'll do a lot of these things. If through a freak of nature, I doubt this would happen, but if through a freak of nature there's a technical difficulty and I can't pull it off for some reason, then I'll just do a regular eBay video next Friday night. later than usual. But for now, I see no problems on the horizon. We're good to go. I hope to see you next Friday, November 28th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That's New York time, live for the first Crazy New York Driver eBay Hangout. Hopefully it'll be the first of many. Basically, that's all I'm going to discuss tonight. I don't want to keep you guys too long. It's been extremely cold this week. Every day has been at least 20 degrees colder than it should be. Hopefully it'll warm up soon. But always remember that I'm Crazy New York Driver, you're not. Thanks for watching. Any questions or comments, feel free to type them below. Any questions about the Google Hangout, type them below. And if I have any updates, I will put them in the description box below the link at some point during the week. Thank you. Happy selling on eBay. See you guys hopefully next Friday. Rock on.